For 4 months, baby Colt slept in a laundry basket beside Evelyn's mop bucket while she worked the halls of Lincoln Elementary. Teachers brought baby clothes. The cafeteria ladies snuck extra milk cartons into her bag. And every morning before sunrise, Evelyn would rock Colt gently in the boiler room while the school heaters rattled awake. Money was always tight, but somehow she made it work. Then, 5 years later, Wyatt came in her life. Wyatt's mother, Lorraine, worked double shifts at a roadside diner. Every afternoon at exactly 3:15, little Wyatt would wander into Evelyn's custodial closet carrying a torn backpack and sit quietly on an upside-down bucket. Evelyn always had crackers waiting for him, sometimes peanut butter sandwiches too. While she changed light bulbs or sorted tools, Wyatt did his homework beside her. "You're going to be smarter than all of us someday," Evelyn used to tease. Wyatt would grin shyly. One winter evening, Lorraine never arrived to pick him up. Snow hammered the streets outside. The principal finally got the phone call around 7:40 p.m. Black ice. Car accident. No survivors. Wyatt sat frozen in the hallway while teachers whispered behind office doors. Nobody knew what to do with him, except Evelyn. She walked over quietly and knelt beside the boy. "You hungry?" she asked softly. Wyatt nodded without looking up. She handed him half a sandwich from her lunch tin. Then she asked the question that changed both their lives. "You want to come home with me tonight?" The boy's lip trembled. "How do I know I'll be okay?" Evelyn placed a rough hand gently on his shoulder. "Because I'm going to make sure of it." And she did. By then, Colt was old enough to help. At 7 years old, he carried groceries, folded laundry, and watched over Wyatt like a little guard dog. The boys shared a tiny bedroom with bunk beds Evelyn bought secondhand. During winter, the apartment got so cold they slept under piles of blankets together. Still, they laughed constantly. They built toy motorcycles from scrap metal, played baseball in empty parking lots. And every Friday night, Evelyn made grilled cheese sandwiches and tomato soup like it was a royal feast. She never complained. Not once. Then came Ranger. The hardest case of all. Evelyn found him during summer break hiding behind the school boiler system. 8 years old, covered in bruises, wearing long sleeves despite the heat. He flinched any time someone moved too quickly. The police later discovered severe abuse inside his foster home. But Ranger trusted nobody. Not doctors, not social workers, not police officers. He refused to speak for nearly 2 weeks, until Evelyn visited him. The moment she entered the room, the boy looked up. She sat beside him quietly without asking questions. After several minutes, she slid a chocolate milk across the table. "You don't gotta talk," she said gently. "Just figured you might be thirsty." The boy stared at her for a long time, then finally whispered, "Can I stay with you?" Evelyn's eyes watered instantly. "Yeah," she answered softly. "Yeah, you can." 3 boys. 3 broken beginnings. One woman holding everything together with a janitor's paycheck. Evelyn sold her old truck to afford groceries. She rode the city bus through rain and snow for years. She learned to sew patches onto jeans, taught herself bike repair from library books, worked overtime whenever the school offered extra shifts. And every single night before bed, she checked on all 3 boys individually, even after they got older, even after they became men. Back in the present, Evelyn's small front yard had transformed into a biker command center. Laptops sat open on folding tables. Work lights illuminated stacks of papers. Engines cooled beneath the night sky. Inside the house, Colt stood before the gathered bikers. "Evie raised me, Wyatt, and Ranger on $12 an hour," he said. "She fed us before she fed herself." No one interrupted. She buried her own son and still found room in her heart for 3 more. Several bikers lowered their eyes. Colt's jaw tightened. And now some rich bastard in a suit thinks he can frame her for theft. The room darkened instantly. Not happening. One biker stood up near the back. "She taught me to read when my old man was in prison." Another spoke. "She fixed my mom's porch for free after a storm." Another. "She paid my school lunch debt in 8th grade." The stories kept coming, one after another, because Evelyn Hartwell had spent her whole life quietly saving people. And now every person she'd helped was beginning to return the favor. Near midnight, Wyatt suddenly looked up from a stack of paperwork. "I found something." Everyone gathered around. He pointed at a purchase order from 3 years earlier. Evelyn recorded 12 gallons of floor wax. He slid over the district invoice. "It says 30 gallons were purchased." Ranger checked another file. "Here too," he muttered. 4 light ballasts became 18. Colt's eyes narrowed. Someone changed the numbers. Silence spread across the room. Then Kane, the Steel Brotherhood's sergeant-at-arms, walked in carrying a laptop. "I found the supplier," he said. Everybody turned. Kane placed the computer on the table. "Grayfield Services." "Never heard of them," Wyatt said. "You wouldn't," Kane replied. "The company didn't exist until 18 months ago." He clicked another page open. The room went dead silent. "Registered owner, Howard Grayfield." "Who's that?" Ranger asked. Kane looked directly at Colt. "Dixon Pembroke's brother-in-law." The realization hit like a hammer. Pembroke hadn't just stolen money. He had been inflating maintenance orders for years. And when Evelyn noticed the numbers weren't matching, he framed her before she could expose him. Kane pulled up one final spreadsheet. A $40 wax order billed at $120. Tools tripled in price. Fake repair invoices. Over $340,000 missing. Nobody spoke. Evelyn sat frozen at the table. 34 years of honest work. And they tried to bury her to protect corruption. Colt slowly closed the laptop. Then he looked around at the men surrounding him. "They want to fight dirty?" The bikers stared back silently. A dangerous smile crossed Colt's face. "Good." Outside, 25 motorcycles waited beneath the streetlights. And for the first time since the accusation began, Evelyn Hartwell smiled too.